Hi everyone, welcome back. Jarrell here. I wanted to show you a couple things. We're just finishing up the Compendium app, and hopefully we'll have that online within the next week or so, just tightening up the graphics, so to speak. Wanted to give you a quick demonstration of opening up figures. So when you receive new figures in your inventory, they'll show up on the display shelf here. Let's say we want to open up our Maverick figure. Let's go ahead and hit Maverick. So what it's going to take, you got to hold down the cardboard, you swipe down on the plastic, and it'll rip them out of the plastic casing there. There we go. We've got an Annalise just here. Let's go ahead and hold the plastic down, swipe down on the plastic. There we go. Let's open up Holt as well while we're at it. So again, we're just finishing up the graphics and tightening up the presentation on that. Oops, here we go. Open that up. And there we go. So you get the enjoyment of opening up the figures after you open them up. They'll be added to your inventory, and you can use them either on the diorama shelf or the Frontier Defenders, and you can play a game with them. So just a bit of fun. Again, it's a free game, no monetization or anything like that. It'll show you the list of games that are coming up. But let's go ahead and go to our game library. Let's just zoom through it a little bit until we get to the very end here. We got our games there. And Campfire Stories. And oh, look what game shows up right there. What is that? That's Ghoul Busters. So as we sort of dropped on social media yesterday, we're sort of looking at our projects and shuffling some things around. And originally we were going to develop Lucid Nightmare. It was going to be a pretty small sort of a puzzle game that we were going to sell for a couple dollars, but we're ending up putting more work into Lucid Nightmare. It's going to be quite higher quality and quite more substantial than I had originally intended. And unfortunately, we won't be able to offer Lucid Nightmare for free through the Ambassador program, because we won't be able to afford to do that. The game itself is worth more than $3 at this point because of the work that we put in. So we've decided to bring Ghoul Busters to the console. So we intend to launch Ghoul Busters around $3, which is what it'll be the same price as Undertakers. And Ghoul Busters, it's not going to be like a Metroidvania type of game that we were sort of gauging interest about, but it's more of you're focusing on just tight, fun, strong platforming, and avoiding hazards and dealing with enemies and things like that. So Ghoul Busters, we mentioned, will use stereoscopic 3D and the touchscreen. So we're treating Ghoul Busters as if it used to be a Game Boy game, and then it's brought to the 3DS and enhanced to use the touchscreen and the 3D graphics. So from that philosophy, it looks like a Game Boy game. It uses the Game Boy color palette, but on the touchscreen, you have a character that you have to control as well. So through normal gameplay on Ghoul Busters, you control your character on the top screen, you run through a level, you avoid hazards, you navigate the level, you fight enemies and things like that. So what's happening on the bottom screen is you're going to see a treehouse. So you have two playable characters in the game. At the start of each level, you pick which character you want, and they're both a bit different. And the character that you don't pick will be up in the treehouse. So while you are controlling the main character, you're going and navigating a level on the top screen, there will be ghouls that'll be climbing up the treehouse on the bottom screen. So every once in a while, you're just going to have to glance down and see if ghouls are about to reach the treehouse. And all you have to do is just give a tap on the touch screen in the general area of where the ghouls are coming, and the character that's in the treehouse will throw a weapon down like a brick and knock the ghouls down and stop them from climbing up the trees. Now, what your character is doing in the treehouse is they're sort of going through boxes, and they're looking for power-ups. So once in a while, every so often, the character that is on the touchscreen in the treehouse will, hold up an item and say, "Oh, hey, do you want this item?" And then if you happen to notice it, if you pay attention to it, all you've got to do is tap the touchscreen on that spot, and he'll throw down a power-up for the character. And these power-ups are useful. You can think of them as sort of like weapons in a Castlevania game, where they can be much more useful than your standard weapon. So that's how we use the touchscreen in Ghoul Busters. Ghoul Busters will be compatible with the Code Linker system, as all Silver Falls games will be, and it will connect to 3 Downstars with some fun surprises. So we won't be spoiling or making any announcements about the connection data just yet on that, and we're still finalizing the details on how it will connect to some of the other titles, as well as we need to map out how each game connects to every single other game. So a lot of planning goes into it. We can't just sort of come up with an idea and then chuck it out there and say Bob's your uncle. So thanks for keeping track of us on social media and sharing our posts and things like that. We are pushing really hard to get these next 3DS games out, as because of the rough start we had with the launch for 3 Down Stars. There were launch date issues, there were glitch issues. We're waiting on Nintendo to roll out the version 1.2 update that fixes all those glitches, and it fixes the crashing and the invisible wall. And when the version 1.2 update comes out, it would mean a whole lot to us, and would be hugely appreciative if you guys helped us spread the word that there's this exclusive 3DS game that's only on the 3DS. And if you enjoy it, let people that you know, let them know about the game and how much you enjoy it and why you think they would enjoy it. Because of all the issues we've had with the launch, sales have been very rough, and we're hoping that will pick up once we get the update rolled out, and once we get Undertakers rolled out and launched, we're hoping sales will pick up. The more sales we get with 3 Down Stars, the easier it will be for us to produce future products and to bring bigger and better games to the 3DS, and to move our development onto the Switch and get those games finished and rolled out. So thanks very much. Sit tight. We're just preparing some things with Undertakers, and then we will be sharing some video on that shortly. I appreciate you guys' time. Thank you for all your support. All of you are just awesome. We will see you in Silver Falls.